share my screen. Awesome. All right. Recording has started, so we're ready to go here. All right. Share my screen. Okay, so you guys should be able to see this. Good. We're good to go. All right, so mindset. This is our third coach chat. Hopefully you guys have been able to absorb the first two of our quote unquote coach chats, kind of covering an orientation of the program, some useful tips about movement and nutrition. And those have been emailed out to you guys, and the recordings have been put on YouTube and hyperlinked in those emails already, either from myself or Jeremy, depending on which team you are. But like I said, this week we're going to go over mindset. So we're going to dive right in. Shouldn't be too long, but hopefully you'll find something useful in the resources we like to point out here. So mindset. One thing you want to do is build a foundation. You want to find what works for you in terms of building a good mindset when it comes to your wellness, your training, your nutrition, your recovery processes. It's going to take some trial and error often to get there, to find what works for you. You know, maybe you're a night owl, or you're an early bird, and that sort of affects your sleep schedule, your work schedule, or something. And maybe you've strived to be something that you're not in that regard. Like you've tried to be a morning person, but it hasn't really helped you. You know, that would just be one example of some trial and error that you have to go through to find, you know, what approaches to wellness work best for you. And mindset is no exception to that. And I think understanding that progress isn't always linear is part of a good grounded mindset. So just being able to take those obstacles as they come, you know, regardless of what sort of wellness pillar we're talking about, whether it's mindset, nutrition, recovery, or movement, just understand that, you know, your first swing at the pitch, so to speak, isn't always going to be your final one, the one that really gets you where you want to be. So just keep at it. If you feel like you're having some problems finding what works for you, and keep trying different things, different approaches, different strategies, and eventually you'll get there. But it's the consistency, that persistency, that will win out in the end for us. So having access to our Slack channel, and I think both of you on the call today have access to that channel. You've been on there. We'll keep you up to date with our current and past offerings, not just pertaining to mindset, but to all three of the other pillars. Like I said, each Monday for almost the past year, we've been doing a Motivation Monday. We'll put an inspirational quote and a little bit of an explanation about it, often hyperlink a resource, as you can see here. And one of Jeremy's recent posts talking about goal setting, and he linked to resources, to a resource to get into SMART goals. And this is something we'll go more in depth about next month in our mindset webinar series. We're going to be holding a goal setting webinar on Tuesday, November 29th, I believe. So definitely be there, sign up for that if you can. If not, we'll have recordings that can go out to watch. But again, just want to make the point that, you know, you're not going to necessarily have success in your first endeavor into whatever wellness pillar we're talking about. Mindset is no exception to that. But let's get into some options and resources for both at home and on-site contexts. And whatever resources you want to pull on to help you get you where you want to be are truly dependent on what fills your cup, so to speak. So you need to take the time to find what aids your productivity, what reduces your stress, and provides you with a clear state of mind. And that can look very different from individual to individual. But some suggestions we might have would be, you know, more trips to the break areas. We have a lot of amazing common areas here on campus. And you can utilize those with a group of coworkers, on your own, maybe just to get some downtime or just get away from the buzz of the office or your desk. Outdoor walks. We live in a well, we don't live here, but we work in a great neighborhood for a quick walk during the lunch break. It's very scenic, lots of green, lots of space, fresh air. So even just like getting up and moving around in the middle of your day and getting out and seeing some faces or getting into the sunshine, seeing some blue skies, that can go a long way to your mental health. And definitely don't underestimate how that can help kind of reset your mindset for the rest of the day, or reinvigorate you during that midday break. And of course, we have a number of wellness rooms on campus, often with massage chairs, couches to lay down on. So if you need a quick breather or something, a moment of tranquility, those are great. Definitely take advantage of those. We have those in both buildings. And one of the last things I want to point out is yoga classes with Rini, who is excellent. I'm not sure if Winnie has taken any of these, but I know a few people on my team have. We just had about 4 or 5 people in her class today. So her classes run Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays at 11:15 a.m., Thursdays at 11:45 a.m. They last about 30 to 45 minutes. And I would put those classes in the same category as movement, recovery, and mindset, because you're getting a little bit of each. There's definitely a strong mental connection to the movements that you're making in any yoga class. And Rini is an excellent instructor. So definitely if you're ever on campus Tuesdays or Thursdays, swing by, take her class. I promise you will not be disappointed. It's a great environment. And the last on-site resource I want to point out is the Core by Hyperice. And you probably don't know what I'm talking about unless you're Blake when I bring these up. But the Core by Hyperice is essentially a small spherical device with thumbprints for your thumbs that you would hold while meditating, connected to a smartphone app on your phone. And it just uses soft vibrations in your hands to recenter your focus while meditating. And maybe you're someone who can just meditate and go and not have any sort of device or guide to it. And if you can do that, more power to you. Definitely use meditation as a means to help with mindset. But for someone like me who has attention deficit disorder, my mind loves to hop from subject to subject very quickly, and that makes meditating difficult. So when I have that device that vibrates every now and then, it kind of helps recenter my focus on the meditation at hand, and just keeps my eyes on the ball, so to speak. So we have a couple of those here in the fitness center. They're over there in the group exercise room in the calm corner, we like to say. There are instructions, but definitely feel free to come grab me if you want to use one of those and you need some guidance. But we'll move on to some at-home and virtual options, and then we'll get into some apps to wrap things up. But like I said before, definitely look back on our previous posts on any of our social media platforms. I've hyperlinked Slack and Instagram here. We'll send out this PowerPoint deck via email afterwards, so you'll have access to click on those hyperlinks. But I would just suggest perusing our Slack channel or our Instagram, going back through our old catalog. We have a lot of great Fit Fact Fridays, we like to call them, Motivation Mondays, as I pointed out, even Wellbeing Wednesdays. That's 2 informational posts on any subject, including a lot of mindset topics, especially for those Motivation Mondays. Wellbeing Wednesdays will cover, how the brain works in relation to muscles, and we'll cover a lot of mindset topics with both those Wellbeing Wednesday trivia questions and with our Fit Fact Fridays. So just going back and perusing those, you could find something useful, and I just want to point that out. We also have recovery classes with both Jeremy virtually and myself on site physically. So Jeremy coaches recovery classes. They last about 15 to 30 minutes or so virtually via Microsoft Teams on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12:15 p.m. Mine are on site in the fitness center in the group exercise room, also at 12:15 p.m. just on Mondays and Wednesdays. So you have an on-site option for that. You have a remote virtual option for that. And I know it's called a recovery class, but we'll do some breathing often in my class, and we'll just kind of shoot the breeze as we go through a number of different flexibility and mobility drills. And it's a really good way to break up the middle of your day and just feel refreshed and reinvigorated, especially on like a Monday or hump day Wednesday, just to get through the beginning or the middle of the week. So I like to tell people that recovery and mindset are very much intertwined, and that class is no exception to it. And lastly, you can also schedule a consultation with Jeremy virtually to find out more about the mindset pillar and how you could leverage or approach it in the best way that's individualized to you. We also offer remote coaching programs. So if you're looking for a personalized training program to do on your own with remote guidance from a coach, you can reach out to myself or Jeremy, set up a consultation with either of us and get the ball rolling on that. So that's another lever you have to pull at your disposal. And the last thing I'll dive into is some mindset apps. What apps are good for working on our mindset? And I already covered Core by Hyperice. I mentioned there's a smartphone app that's linked to it, and the device won't only vibrate, it will also take some useful biometric data from your thumbprints, which is also pretty cool. So definitely check that out if you're on site. But if you're looking for something that is, maybe less hands-on, doesn't require a device that you need to come to the fitness center or go to a wellness room for, these are some good options. Now, they're not all free, but they are relatively cost effective, and they do offer a lot of different options in terms of things that could help your mindset. Headspace was a big one. At my last job, the employees loved using that. So that will provide access to guided meditations, music, nature soundscapes, and storytelling sleepcasts. So all manner of things that app will cover. Calm is very similar in the way it will offer you calming exercises, different breathing techniques, which are very useful, and guided meditations as well. And then last but not least, we have Breathe, which will help you manage your mental health through, again, guided meditations. But this one will also offer inspirational talks, nature sounds, music, hypnotherapy, and mindset classes. So a huge catalog there. And between those three apps, a lot of useful assistance to be found. So if you're someone who feels like you need some help with your mindset, in addition to maybe, seeing a therapist or talking with friends, or, going on walks, using movement, recovery, and nutrition to help out your mindset, well, this is another option for you. Maybe invest in a useful mindset app to help really make your approach to mindset truly diversified. And that's it. So I'll stop sharing my screen now, and we will open the floor up to questions if anyone has one. I'll check the chat here. Yep. Blake and I can definitely attest to the Core app's usefulness. We've both used it, both raving reviews. So we highly recommend coming in to use that. And if you have any questions or need any help with that, just come find me at the desk. We'll help you out. But if we don't have any other questions or anything like that, I think we can start to wrap up, unless Winnie has something question to say. All right, thanks, Trevor. You're welcome. Thank you guys for coming and giving me an audience. I really appreciate it. So I think with that, we can go ahead and stop the recording, and we can end the meeting.